You know the moment when a cold has truly settled into your chest. Not the runny nose anymore, not the sneezing, but that thick, heavy clogging that has dropped down low and sits there, and a cough that drags up that stubborn sticky stuff, or worse, that cough that rattles and labors and just will not bring anything up at all. It sits there, heavy and unmoving. It wears you down. It makes every breath feel like work and turns your voice rough and tired, and it does not shift. Of all the miseries a cold can hand you, this clogged, heavy chest is among the most wearing. And there are two plain old ways, passed down quietly through the years, that help loosen it and lift it up and clear it. One uses steam, the other uses nothing at all but your own breath. I will show you both. But the breath one especially, because it is a real honest method that most folks have forgotten, and it will not cost you a single penny. Let me tell you straight at the start what these will and will not do, because I will not oversell you. You hear all the time about clearing your lungs in minutes, about forcing mucus out like magic. That is overstating it. What these two plain methods honestly do is help loosen and thin that stuck, stubborn clogging and help your own body bring it up and out. So over a session and with repeating, your chest feels clearer and your breathing easier, not an instant magic flush. A real, honest loosening done with steam and breath while your cold runs its natural course. That is a genuinely useful thing, and it costs almost nothing. But it is help and comfort, not a miracle, and I will not pretend otherwise. My name is Hannah Byler, and I keep a small herb garden and a wood cook stove on a farm in Holmes County, Ohio. My grandmother was a midwife and an herbalist, and her mother before her, and so on back. They kept the old ways because the old ways worked, and they loosened many a clogged chest with steam and breath and patience, the same as their mothers had. They had no television and no pharmacies on every corner, so they made do with what the garden and the kettle and their own two lungs could give them. And I will be plain with you before I go further, the way my people always are. I am not a doctor. A heavy chesty cough is most often just a cold that has settled low, and these plain methods are for that. But a chest is not a thing to trifle with, and I will tell you honestly near the end the signs that mean a chest trouble belongs to your doctor and not to home remedies. Listen for that part especially. And if you have a lasting trouble of the lungs, asthma or the like, you follow your doctor's care first and take up nothing here without their word. My own doctor, Dr. John, has walked me through these methods and has looked over what I will tell you. What I am giving you is the plain old way to ease an ordinary chesty cold, comfort and help, not doctoring. Quick word before I go on. The old ways my family keeps, there is far more of it than fits in any one video or any one conversation. I gathered the whole of it into a small book. You can find it at hannahsherbs.com. The book is the long version of all of this. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. Now, let me give you the two ways. I will start with the steam because it is the one most folks know at least a little of. And then I will give you the breath method, which is the one worth staying for. The first way is steam. Warm, moist steam breathed in. It is one of the oldest friends there is to a clogged chest and head. We spoke of steam in another piece for a stuffed nose, and here it does the same good work, only lower down. The warm, moist air breathed in warms and moistens the passages and helps to loosen and thin that thick, stuck clogging so it can begin to move and come up, rather than sitting there hard and immovable. Plain steam alone does real good. But the old women knew that a few plain things added to the steaming water made it better still, and there is honest sense in it. The first is mint. The plain garden mint that grows anywhere. Mint carries in it that cooling menthol, the same bracing thing you find in the chest salves. And breathed in with the steam, it helps open up the passages and makes the breathing feel clearer and easier as it works. A good handful of fresh mint leaves, 10 or a dozen, dropped into the steaming water. The second is ginger. A bit of fresh ginger, grated or sliced, perhaps half a thumb's worth. Ginger is a warming, easing thing long used for the throat and chest. It helps soothe an irritated cough and is a plain old friend to a congested chest. And the third is a spoonful of plain salt stirred into the water. For warm salt in the steam is soothing to raw, congested passages, the same gentle good the salt gargle does for a sore throat. Plain salt, no need for any fancy kind. Now, let me be honest about what this steaming does, because I will not repeat the overblown claims. Breathing this warm, minty steam soothes your passages, helps loosen and thin the clogging, and makes your breathing feel clearer and easier. It does not reach down into your lungs and dissolve the mucus out, nor does it kill off the sickness, whatever grand claims are made for it. It loosens, it soothes, it eases honestly and really, which is worth a great deal when your chest is clogged and miserable. Do not expect more of it than that, and you will not be disappointed, for what it honestly does is a real comfort. Here is how you do it plainly. Boil your water, then take it off the heat, because you steam over hot water, never over a flame. Into the hot water, put your handful of mint, your bit of grated ginger, and your spoonful of salt. Cover the bowl with a towel or a plate for a minute or two, to let the good of the mint and ginger come out into the steam. Then set the bowl on a steady table, bring your face over it, and drape a towel over your head and the bowl both, to make a little tent that holds the steam around your face. And here is the plain caution I always give, because it matters. Do not bring your face too close, because the steam can scald you, and a bowl of just boiled water is a danger to handle and to have near children. Keep a sensible distance, close enough to breathe the steam, not so close as to burn. Then breathe it in, deep and slow, through your nose and your mouth both, down into your chest, for 5 to 10 minutes. Breathe deep, because it is the chest we are after here. Do that a couple of times through the day, and it will loosen and ease that clogged chest a good deal. Before I give you the breath method, let me pause a moment, because this next part is the one I most want you to keep. Now here is the second way, and this is the one worth staying for, because it is a genuine plain method that uses nothing at all but your own breath, and it does real work at bringing up and clearing that stubborn clogging. It is a way of breathing that helps move the stuck stuff up out of the deeper chest so you can clear it. Folks who sing, and folks whose work depends on their wind, have long known ways like this. And it is worth every person knowing, because it costs nothing, and you always have your breath with you. Let me walk you through it slow. You sit down comfortable in a chair, and you sit up straight, upright and tall, not slumped, because the breath moves best through an upright body. Let your shoulders drop and go easy. Now you take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, filling your chest right up as full and deep as you comfortably can, drawing that air down deep into the bottom of your lungs. Then, and here is the key of it, you hold that full breath in for a count of 3 or 4 seconds. That holding with the lungs full lets the air work in behind the stuck clogging and helps to loosen it from where it clings. And then you let it out, not in a gentle sigh, but in a strong, forceful push through pursed lips, your lips pursed near shut, as if you were blowing out a candle or blowing to cool a hot spoon of soup. A good, strong, controlled push of the breath out through those pursed lips. That forceful outward push is what helps drive the loosened clogging up and out of the deeper passages toward where you can cough it clear. So it is those 3 parts: a slow, deep breath in through the nose, filling deep, a hold of 3 or 4 seconds to loosen, a strong, forceful breath out through pursed lips to drive it up. And you repeat that cycle 5 to 7 times over. And as you go, you will likely feel the clogging begin to shift and move upward, and you will find you can cough it up and clear it far more easily than before. When you feel it come up, cough it clear and carry on with a few more cycles. This plain breathing does real honest work, because the deep filling and the held pressure loosen the stuck stuff, and the forceful pursed lip push moves it along. Doing it regularly even strengthens the breathing itself over time. It is one of the most useful plain things there is for a clogged chest, and hardly anyone remembers it. Now a plain caution with the breathing, for honesty's sake. Do not do it so hard or so long that you make yourself dizzy or lightheaded, because deep, forceful breathing over and over can do that. If you feel at all dizzy, stop, breathe normal a while and rest. A handful of cycles a few times a day is plenty, gentle and steady, not frantic. And if you have a lung condition, the asthma or the like, this is one more thing to take up only with your doctor's word, not on mine. So put the two together, the steam and the breath, and you have a genuinely good plain way to loosen and clear a clogged chest. Steam over the minty ginger water to warm and loosen and soothe. Then the breathing, the deep breath, the hold, the forceful push, to bring the loosened stuff up and out. Do the steam first to loosen, then the breathing to clear, a couple of times through the day. And through it all, keep your fluids up. Drink plenty of the warm drinks and the good broth, because keeping well-watered thins that mucus from the inside and helps it move, and no amount of steam and breathing works as well in a body gone dry. Warm drinks, steam, and breath together are the plain old way to move a stubborn chest. Now hear the plain caution I promised, because it matters more with the chest than with most things. Most chesty coughs are an ordinary cold settling low, and these plain methods are for easing that while it passes, which it mostly does in a week or 2. But go and see your doctor, and do not just steam and breathe at home if your cough brings up blood, or if it brings up thick-colored mucus along with a high fever, or if you are truly short of breath or struggling to breathe, or if there is real pain in your chest, or if the cough drags on for many weeks and will not clear. Those can be signs of a real chest infection or something more that wants a doctor's care, and sometimes the proper medicine, which is a good and needful thing when it is needed. My own doctor, Dr. John, has been plain with me about these signs, and I pass them on. And if you have asthma or the lung trouble they call COPD, or any lasting condition of the lungs, your doctor's care comes first always, and these plain comforts only alongside it, with their word. The ordinary chesty cold is a fine thing to ease at home. The uncommon or serious one is a doctor's matter, plainly. Now here is the part nobody makes a dollar telling you. There is no money in telling a person to breathe steam off a bowl of mint and to breathe deep in a certain way. Nobody grows rich off a handful of mint and your own breath. The money is in the syrups and the pills and the potions sold for a clogged chest, shelf upon shelf of them, and some of those have their place, and the pharmacist and the doctor can guide you to them honestly when they are wanted. But the plainest, cheapest, oldest helps, the steam and the breath that have loosened clogged chests for as long as there have been folks with colds, get drowned out, because a bowl of steam and a way of breathing have no salesman. I am not telling you there is a conspiracy. I am telling you something plainer. The plain free method profits no one, so it goes quiet and forgotten while the bottles are sold from every shelf. The old wisdom was not proven wrong, it just had nothing to sell, and your own breath earns nobody a dime. Tell me in the comments below. When a cold settled in your chest, what did your people do for it? The steam, a certain tea, a broth, some old family way. Did your grandmother have a thing she swore by for a clogged chest? And that breathing method, had you ever heard of it? Or a way like it from the old folks, or from singing or from work that needed good wind? Where did your folks come from and what did they do for a chesty cough? The plain old ways are worth remembering and worth sharing, so write yours down here. I read every single one. Next video. Since we have talked now of the sore throat and the stuffy nose and the clogged chest each in their turn, the next one I want to do is the whole of it together. The plain old way the careful old folks nursed a whole cold from start to finish. The steam and the broth and the honey and the sage and the rest, all of it. The way a household saw a body through the worst of a cold and got it back on its feet the soonest. Same honest rule. What is true, what is just a nice story, and how we actually did it. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Until then, the next time a cold settles heavy in your chest and the cough will not shift, do not just reach for a bottle and wait. Boil up some water with a handful of mint and a bit of ginger and a little salt, and breathe that warm steam deep to loosen things. Then sit up straight and breathe. The deep breath, the hold, the strong push out through pursed lips, and bring that stuck stuff up and clear it. Keep your warm drinks going and let your body do its mending. The old people did not have a shelf of cough syrups. They had a bowl of